The Hustle review will love the players, but not the game CNET. CNET tumbin est display winnable and ESPA plus or minus OL. Don't show this again. The Riviera caper falls short, but not because of its cast. Hathaway and Wilson try to outwit one another on the Riviera. Sometimes you see a trailer for a film and you get a strong feeling in your gut that screams this. Ads for, starring End, have been following me around the internet relentlessly for weeks, and in this age of hyper-targeted, data-driven advertising, I came to the obvious conclusion that as a youngish, city-dwelling woman with tastes spanning the low and highbrow, I epitomize the target audience for this movie. So of course, The Hustle, opening May 10th, is a remake of the 1988 movie starring Michael Caine and Steve Martin, which is a remake of the 1964 film Bedtime Story, starring Marlon Brando and David Niven. Hathaway plays, in fairness to the algorithms that sent The Hustle my way, all the ingredients were there. Hathaway, Wilson, a women-centric retelling, the glitzy Riviera setting, a continental train journey harking back to the golden age of rail travel, an opportunity to root for the bad guys. Yet somehow, I was hoping for an companion piece, but in the end the film lacked the high glamour, the high stakes and the sprawling action I craved. The only things, unfortunately, even this isn't consistent, as Josefina's default setting in The Hustle is a po-faced English toff who's ultimately too cold to evoke much empathy, with an accent so unconvincing you keep waiting for it to be revealed as a joke. The habit of leaning, you imagine British director Chris Addison, with his history of working on highly nuanced British comedies like The Thick of It and In the Loop with Armando Iannucci, would be aware of this and would be able to deftly dodge it. No such luck. Wilson holds up her end of the deal with her own unique comedic style and timing, making Penny into The Hustle's most redeeming feature. She gets the best. Penny and Josephine work in competition with one another to exploit a proto-Zuckerberg tech tycoon, played so convincingly by Alex Sharp that this could serve as his audition for a sequel to The Social Network. Without giving too, if you've seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels you'll already be familiar with the story's twist. I was bracing and you thought the White Walkers were the real monsters. The satisfying superhero epic doesn't leave a second to spare. No spoilers, be respectful, keep it civil and stay on topic. We delete comments.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot. I get fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.